Welcome to the True Elegance podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bumia Kikube, also known as Dr. B. Through solo episodes and guest sessions, we delve into the timeless qualities of style, grace, and sophistication, and uncover what makes you truly elegant. So, sit back, relax, and let's get started on this empowering journey of becoming truly elegant. Hello, Elegant Tribe, and welcome to another episode of the True Elegance podcast, where we talk about not just physical beauty, but about the inner beauty that enables us to radiate elegant confidence. Today, I have with me an intuitive business coach who leads her clients to live life on fire for the ultimate successful life with peace, joy, and fulfillment. She has built an award-winning law firm and publishing house. She's a number one best-selling author, a CPA, and an ordained minister recognized nationally for outstanding community leadership. Based on her latest book, she loves sharing the formula to the ultimate successful life with peace, joy, and fulfillment. Please welcome with me, Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. B. I am so honored to be a guest on your show. Thank you so much.
I am more honored to have you. Thank you. Can you please share with us just a little background about yourself? So I just read your bio. You're a best-selling author. You have a publishing firm. You're a business coach. But what were you? Who were you before all this?
So at all times, I'm a child of the Most High.
Amen.
And I was raised by very loving parents, wonderful family that encouraged me to excel.
Beautiful.
And it wasn't that there was a lot of pressure, Dr. B. It was that I wanted them to be proud of me.
Aww.
And so it started off with good grades. I had great teachers, and then being involved in organizations at school and sports. And then it went on to college. And when you're younger, you have a whole lot of energy. And so you can sleep with like 3 or 4 hours and you'll be okay. But then that starts to catch up with you. And it started to catch up with me in my late 20s, early 30s. I had become addicted, Dr. B, addicted to like the applause. I just loved hearing, yay, Lynita. Oh, I just love having you on my team, love having you in my class, love having you working with me. And it was great until it wasn't, Dr. B. I got to a place where I was exhausted, but I didn't listen to my body. My hair started to break off. My skin started to deteriorate. My nails started to split. And my way of dealing with it, I just started wearing a lot of wigs. I had an incredible wig collection. It would have made Shaka Khan cry. I'm telling you. Right? I mean, really. And I learned how to beat my face like these girls on Instagram. Oh, yes. And I just started wearing nails. I mean, I knew where the best nail shops were anywhere I went. The one thing that I could not do, though, was when I passed out from exhaustion in the middle of my floor, my then 6-year-old daughter, instead of me tucking her in that night, she had to tuck me in. She took a pillow from her bed and put it under my head, and her Disney princess's blanket from her bed and put it over my body. And she kissed me on the forehead goodnight and said, good night, mommy. And I was too tired to get up to say good night, baby, to put her to bed. And it was at that point that I realized that I needed to do something different with my life if I was going to see her graduate from high school. And so that is the person that you're meeting. I love my accolades. I love the things that I've accomplished. But the biggest thing is realizing that to get to a place of peace, joy, and fulfillment in my life, that it was going to have to be defined by something other than stuff, other than yay and applause.
Right.
It was going to have to be defined by a sense of excellence rather than perfection.
Wow. That is so powerful. Excellence rather than perfection. Because many times we're chasing the perfection, we're chasing all those accolades. And bless her dear heart, your daughter, who was able to do that and, you know, almost step into the mommy role at that point.
That's right. That's
And
exactly
take
right.
care. Wow, wow, wow. So, if I may ask, how old were you when that happened?
Absolutely. So that was 10 years ago. So I was
Okay.
37.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. So it's not like you're even hitting, the 50s and the 60s, sometimes when you anticipate that maybe your health is maybe not as strong as it used to be, but
Right.
at 37, you think you're still ready to go and conquer the world. And your body was like, ma'am.
You could not have said it better, Dr. B, because at the time that happened, I was training for a marathon and I had
Wow.
gotten up to 18 miles.
Wow.
So a marathon is 26.2. So in a couple of weeks, I would have been ready to qualify to do it.
Wow.
So I was in the best shape of my life. I look at pictures of myself from that time. I'm like, oh, she fine. Yes,
Wow.
But on the inside, I was not fine.
Right,
I
right.
was not fine.
Wow. So looking back from then till now, can you share with us maybe two or three specific areas that have changed, like on this podcast beyond the physical, what more have you embraced to be able to live that life of excellence and purpose?
Absolutely. So the two biggest things was there was a major shift in my prayer life.
Hmm.
So before I prayed, I am a fifth generation PK preacher's kid.
Wow.
I am married to a pastor.
Okay.
So I have always had a relationship with God, but this required a shift from defining my prosperity
Mhm,
with physical items. So it wasn't money, cars, clothes, cash, right?
mhm,
This was my mental and emotional wellness. This was my spiritual peace and joy. This was being able to be peaceful and joyful even when things got hard. And that required a major shift. So the first thing is I got help from a wonderful organization, the Art of Living Foundation, that taught me a series of breathing methodologies as
okay.
well as meditation. And so my grandmother used to say, you have two ears and one mouth. So you should be listening more than you're talking. And so
Right.
I learned to listen to God, which was the meditation, as opposed to rapid fire. Blah, 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 blah. I want this, I want this, I want this, right?
Hmm.
With the prayers. So that was the first part. And then with the breathing, I learned how to calm myself no matter what is going on so that I could hear God talk. Before I would just tell him what I wanted and then I would act on that. Now I listen to see what it is I'm supposed to do, what the expectations are in a situation. And as I have done that, my intuitive intelligence has risen. And so there are things that I just know to do, and I'm able to apply those skills with my clients as an attorney that have helped them. And they will say to me, how did you know? And I'm like, wasn't me, but I'm glad to be able to be a vessel and to help you truly.
Yes.
The second thing that I had to do in this entire worldly shift was to understand that when we're looking at a person from the outside, that's all we're seeing is the outside. We
Right.
have to learn to look beyond what our eyes, these two eyes are seeing, and see with our heart.
Wow.
You will always feel what a person is going through. Now, we might not want to acknowledge it
Hmm.
because sometimes it is inconsistent with or it gets in the way of what we're trying to accomplish at that time. But it does not change the fact that there is a person in front of us who requires us to be humane, to be kind, to be loving. And once I made those two major shifts, things really opened up for me. You would think that they would have impacted my bottom line negatively, and they did not.
Wow.
Literally a couple of years after I made those life shifting decisions, my bottom line doubled in my firm.
Wow.
Yes. And I truly believe it is because people could sincerely know that whatever I was doing, it was from a place of peace and joy, that I really had their best interests at heart. That, yes, I have bills to pay too, Dr. B, and there's just no getting around that. But I'm no
Right.
longer looking across for that provision. I know that it is coming down.
Coming from above.
That's right.
Amen. Amen. Wow. That is so beautiful. That is so
Thank you.
beautiful. And the heart piece of it, like you said, if we take some time to look deeper, to pause and listen, because many of us, if we're asked, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good, life is good. And we just assume, oh, life is good, and then we move on. But
Yes.
both in the person asking the question and the person responding, if we could just take like a 2-3 second pause, like, how exactly am I doing?
Yes.
And or this person that just said, oh, I'm good, and they're just going like, are you really okay? Yes, I think I saw a book that someone wrote one time. I don't remember the author right now, but it was like, I'm good, but am I okay? Or you're good, but are you really okay? Something like that. And I think those are questions we must pause and ask ourselves from time to time as we sometimes pursue these accolades, or sometimes even trying to do what we think we're meant to do. So, for example, as moms, we have kids, we want to take care of them, we want to make sure they're doing well, but sometimes we have to refill our cup to get our rest, get our rejuvenation so that we can give our best to the bigger circle around us.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Beautiful. I read somewhere on your page about dramergencies. I don't know if I'm
Yes,
saying that right.
that's exactly right.
What
Drama.
is that?
So I made up a word, and it is drama and emergencies,
Okay.
dramergencies.
Okay.
And what struck me, you get these calls early in the morning, and they're never good. It's normally some mess. And I used to be so plugged in that if my phone rang, I had to answer. Even if
Right.
it was a bad time, and I could not give my full attention to what was going on. And then I would become what we call emotionally hijacked by whatever it was going on. And so I wasn't showing up as my best self. I was not able to give the best advice that I could give. And sometimes that advice really is being silent. Silence is golden. And I would find myself with that energy, that bad vibe for the rest of the day,
Wow.
unless or until I paused to do my breathing and my meditation. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I started a routine with my phone where I don't get calls unless they're real emergencies. And so there are certain people who can break through
Right.
7 a.m. And then after 11 p.m., same deal. So between 11 p.m., 7 a.m., nothing. That gives me time because I'm an early riser. I get up between 5 and 5:30 every day to do my prayers, to do my meditations, to do
Mhm.
my stretching. If I'm going running that day or I'm doing strength that day, to do everything I need to do before 7 o'clock. And now I am in the proper state of mind to deal with what is coming up. Whether it's some juicy gossip from a girlfriend or some news release or alert that just tells me that the world is coming to an end and I got to get ready.
You gotta get ready, right?
Right, right. I got to get ready. Whatever it is, whatever the emergency is, I am ready because I have had my tea and I have had my meditation
Meditation.
first.
Wow, that's beautiful. So no drama, no fake emergency. We're
Mhm.
only just gonna focus on what's important.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I love it. Let's talk about your book. Your book. I see it peeping in the background.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Certainly. So, Live Life on Fire is my fifth book.
Oh,
And it is, as it is subtitled, The Ultimate Guide to Living a Successful Life Full of Peace, Joy, and Fulfillment. And I wrote the book last year during a space where I had what I call the download, where spirit will just start talking to me and I'll just start writing. And when the feeling is done, I'm done. And it is a compilation or a cheat sheet on how to redefine what success means to you. Now, earlier I talked about the difference between excellence and perfection. Perfection is living according to someone else's standard,
mm.
whereas excellence is living to your own standard. Well, what if you don't have one? And most
Oh,
of us don't realize that we don't have our own standards until we are at this age in our 30s, 40s, 50s.
right.
And so that's when we start building a life that really reflects who we are. What if we had that power when we were younger with all this vigor and vim, right? When we were in our 20s. And I broke that down in the book. First, starting with, we got to burn down our old life. And I don't mean like an arsonist, right? I'm, I'm talking about getting rid of energy vampires,
Hmm.
releasing things that no longer serve us. Sometimes those things are people. The second thing is emergencies, things that try to come into our space, building a protective wall so that we're ready. So we have an established meditation and prayer practice that we do every day so that we can go into our day with joy and peace. And in the evening time, we do the same thing to release whatever has built up. I try really hard to do that before I get home in the evening, so I'm not bringing stuff home to my family. And I can tell you, they really appreciate it because if you talk to them about the person I was before and the person I am now, like I hardly ever talk about work. But before I was bringing home all kinds of stuff and I would be all right. And that, that's not good for anybody.
Right.
And then the third thing is understanding that there is no reason for perfection
Mm.
because that is not how we grow. We grow through experiences. And if we just take the moment to understand that life is for us, it's not happening to us, it's not happening for us. And think of ourselves as the silver lining of every opportunity, of every cloud. That when there is something challenging that's going on, it is to help us to grow to the next level of.
Wow. That is so profound. I love what you said about perfection is living to someone else's standards, while excellence is living to our own standard. That's
Yes.
why we need to pursue excellence rather than perfection. And I'm sure your book will be amazing, like you said, for folks who don't even have a standard. Like, what's your baseline? What are things you stand for? And what are things you know that it's a no-go area for you?
Yeah.
And the other piece about that there's no reason for perfection. Like, I
Mhm.
totally agree with that. Because if we were perfect, then maybe we probably don't need to be here anymore. We might just
And there you go, Dr.
off
B. That's
and go.
exactly right.
But every day we're learning and building from the experience of yesterday to make it a better today and tomorrow. So thanks for reminding us about that.
Oh, you're so welcome. My
Yes,
pleasure.
yes. Wow, that's beautiful. Well, as we wrap up today, I just want to open it up to you if you have any final thoughts to encourage mostly women who listen on this podcast, who are in that age gap. I notice, like, I'm over 40. Usually when we're getting to the 40-year mark, we're wondering, oh, what have we done with our lives? Have we lived a life of purpose? Have we lived a life of impact? And then it's almost a race against time, like, oh, I got to do it like today or this year. Yes, so please share with us.
Absolutely. I'd like to leave you with a story, if that's okay.
Yes,
When we're
ma'am.
talking about our lives being, quote, half over, we've only just begun. You can't really count the years where you're learning how to walk, how to talk, how to put on your clothes.
That's
And
true.
then the years where we're being educated so that we can go out into the world, can't really count those either. So if you start your number at 19 because you become an adult at 18, you move on to whatever you're going to do,
Okay.
then you are only maybe 20% in.
Wow.
And with us all living longer up into 100, I think you know that you have at least a good 40 to 60 years to go. And
Right.
I know that for a fact because my mother, who is 76 years young, just started her baking business last year. Auntie's
Wow.
Baking, and she is doing so well.
Wow.
And she has support from not just family, but friends and customers. She makes the most scrumptious food you ever want to taste. And that came from years of developing her skills, gifts, and talents. And now she has the time to dedicate to it, the
Mhm.
expertise to do it well, and the love so that people keep coming back. So, ladies and gentlemen who are listening as well, please know that this is your time to just decide what you want to do. And you now have everything you need to do it
Yes.
well.
Yes. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest on the show today and sharing so much wisdom with us. We definitely appreciate it. And what's the best way to stay in touch with you beyond today?
So that would be visiting my website, LynitaMitchell-Blackwell.com.
Okay.
And if you visit my website, please sign up for our email list. And we do have a freebie for those who have stuck in. I give the blueprint to living your life on fire. And that link is bit.ly/live life blueprint. So I am just so delighted to be here. And thank you, Dr. B, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. And we'll be sure to include all that information in our show notes today. Yes, ma'am. Be sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to be notified of every new episode. Leave a review and share this podcast with that elegant lady in your life. This is a space where we can come together to empower and inspire each other and live feeling elevated and enlightened. See you in the next episode.